Welcome back. Let's cut straight into it, right? I think, and it's not for everybody, I get it, but this is my motor. This is what I want from this, so works for me. It'll work better if the bull bar was cut. If the crash bar was cut and widened. It is for I think it was an 1818 Harley, whatever that means. I have no idea. So yeah, we're going to have to widen it. Obviously the downpipe part won't fit, so what I was going to do is build a tube to go across with two 10mm in and attach that to the base, and then I'll come off with a metal plate off the brakes, back of the brakes where that would normally be bolted to, and I'll weld that to my down tube, and that's how I'm going to erect this into position. Obviously it's going to be a lot wider. It needs to be wider anyway, because look where it is. It needs to be. They need to be at here. I'm losing valuable airflow on the side there, so I've got to bring that out at least to there, at least. Okay, you get the gist. I've added 6 inches, 3 inches each side to the centre. The paint is now decimated, so that's definitely going to need a repaint on that bar. The tab that's holding that all on needs to be bent a bit more. I could definitely do a little bit more foot room if I'm going to keep that stupid air vent. Quite frankly, I don't particularly care about it at this point in time. So if we have to break the plastic and get rid, then we break the plastic and we get rid. Because as you can see from my foot, at the moment I can operate the brakes, but when you open that silly vent, you cannot. I don't actually know what is the point of it. So what I've done is I put a tube in there. I've drilled some holes in that tube so the water can drain out. I'll probably fill that with oil and just leave that hanging up after I've painted it. I've now got to make 2 brackets that come off the outer foot peg bolt, so I'm going to need to take the Allen out and put a very much a longer Allen bolt in there, and then I can build a bracket to come off that and weld onto that bottom tube, and then this will be fully welded on and bolted on, you know, welded together and bolted onto the frame, and no welding to the frame whatsoever. That's just a question of pulling it all off, cleaning up the welding. I've been using that new hitbox over there. I'm not liking that thing much, but it will do for car work and stuff. That's the position I would like it in. I'm just not sure at the moment if I've got full clearance on the forks. Oh, that dog. I love him a bit, but he can be a right nuisance when it's time to go for a walk. Go. No. No. Go on. No. Dog. Okay, as I was saying, that's I give up. I'll tell you what. I'll stop that. Be something stupid. Oh, I see. This has been an absolute nightmare to fit. Okay, so the side extensions, I've actually made them out of a bit of fiberglass that I made when I was doing the camper. These are the bits of the window, and I thought, well, instead of putting a piece of aluminium on the back there, why don't I just shove a piece of fiberglass actually inside, and then with car filler glue it into position, because that is what you do in a sense. So I will sand that one out all the way down there, get that all nice and clean, and then we'll do this to it. in true Blue Peter style. There you go. So that was all sanded out, hence all that white, which is the substrate underneath. That's the paint they put on. And I've just got to cut along that line neatly, sand all of that out. I'm still in a gelish state at the moment, so we're not going to do no more of that one until tomorrow. I've put a backing plate of resin in. I just got to drill that hole out because that's where the bracket was, and I've got to drill them out as well because that's for the front bracket. And then yeah, I'd say we'll be able to put this back on and see where we're at. Now, I smashed the indicators out because I didn't want them there, just really old-fashioned style, so I've got to make up a plate that can fit inside that, and a lot. There you go. I just got to put some filler in and we'll be good to go. Okay, I have cut out a bit more fiberglass and glued that in with car filler, as you do, and once that's gone properly cured off, I will get a sander and then feather these edges around, and then I will put a load of fiberglass on the inside edge of that so it sticks to the outer frame, and then sand that back, and then whatever's left we'll get filler over the top. That one's still drying. Unfortunately, the filler made a bit of a mess because trying to do that one-handed, hold that and put the wedges behind, because that's what I had to do. I don't know if you can see those. And there you can see in there, but there is some wooden wedges pushed up against the side to push that fiberglass in as best as I can get it. So the glass fibre over the indicators isn't gone as well as it could have, and that's mainly down to how cold it is. The resin is really thick and gloopy. Now, I could have warmed that up a little bit and that would have made it a bit more runny, but what I did in the end was just added a bit of thinners to thin it out, which you can do. Better to do it with acetone, I believe. But it has now finally cured. About 6 hours that took, on and off with the aid of a heat gun, on and off. When I say on and off, I mean like every sort of 2 hours I came out and went over it briefly just to activate the catalyst, and seems to have worked. Well, I ended up buying this Machine Mart, £50 that cost. That's a little gem, that. I'm quite impressed with it. And there's the indicator slots gone. I had a bit of trouble with this one because the fiberglass didn't quite go. I got impatient basically. I filled it after it was gelled and it never really took. And then along that line there, it broke free. And I had little tufts of fiberglass sticking out over the filler, so I had to get a knife, cut that whole area out and then refill again. I don't know how strong that's going to be. Genuinely, I don't know, okay? Bit hit and miss, really, and it's like that on both sides. See if I can turn this around. There you go. That side went a lot better because I managed to keep it below that line. But this one, I had to build it out a little bit on that edge because it was just below that edge where it had blown through. So both indicators are now gone. How permanent that is, I couldn't say. I don't know. A couple of little pinprick holes I've got to get rid of. Air bubbles in the filler. But other than that, no, it's come out quite good. So now we've got to tackle, and I'm having a lot of trouble with this, is that base. Because I didn't have any gel coat to put over it, it's been a bit of a nightmare. But we're getting there slowly, and once I've done all of that, I'll just go around the rest of it, like round here, and just clean that all up. I think this bit here, plus all the interior, is going to get bed lined because it's really bad. And having a textured surface to that, well, that ain't all bad, is it really? But the locker doors, I'll take them off and I'll paint them up in the same type of paint here. What I was debating about doing when I laid this out last night on the trike, I sort of saw that area there and I thought, you know what, black along here and then red up to that point there and then black below, and then when I do the fuel tank paint, the indent in the side of the tank can be red and everything will blend in beautifully. I've just got to make sure I use the right red. Only took 3 hours to do. What I had to do was get a spatula and curve the end, make it about yay wide instead of that wide, and scrape a load of filler in that gap there. So we've gone from that sharp edge, which is where I was originally going with it, because that's what I wired. However, I just couldn't get it to work, so I had to go in with a curve. And to be honest, I think that looks so much nicer. So yeah, the sides are done as well. Both sides. So I've just got to get the other side done on here, which is that one. So now I've got to do that after tea. I'm just a bit on the hungry side at the moment. And then we'll go around the rest of it that ain't been sanded back and sand it, including on the inside edge carefully. I'm not going to be putting too much effort into that. I just want to get rid of some of the sharp edges, and I'll bed line that, but I'm going to do the bed line after I've painted it, because I can mask off the painted area a lot easier than I can the bed lined area. That's the reason behind it. And we'll bed line all of that, so we'll have a textured dash, and hopefully we'll have the shed cleared up when we're ready to start spraying all this lot. So yeah, pleased, very pleased. It's been a... Right, we're on the last leg. 2 pinprick holes, well 3 actually, and I just got to rub them out, and that side is done. Yeah. So there's going to be a lot of filler primer go on this. A bit rough up there. It's a whole day. Absolutely cream crackered. Right, so that's both sides done. And there you go. As neat as I can get them anyway. Having this on this workbench is now becoming a problem. I've just scratched a little bit of that, but not to worry, we can deal with it. Right, so tomorrow all of this hairline cracking around its gel coat here, so it's chipped, it is all going to have to be cut. You see the dark lines, so we'll cut into that with a grinder, then we'll put a little bit of filler around there, we'll sand out by hand very gently all that inside edge, and we'll go from there. But before I do that, I am going to lay this outside to give you an idea of where we're at and what it looked like. I think you're going to be mildly impressed. We were on the last leg of this last night, and then I discovered that there was cracks all along that area there. Fractures in the gel coat, plus this level. But this was the one I did with the electric sander before it packed up, and I thought I had it. I don't know why I thought I had, because it was actually quite bad. So I've literally gone over the top of that. I've skimmed this as well. There were some holes. I should have used bridging compound for those holes, but I didn't. So I think they're probably going to come back and bite me later. I mean, you can see the filler is already sinking in the holes, but there was a textured surface to that, so we're going to get rid of that as best as possible. Get that all smoothed off, then we'll sand along that bit, and we'll do that bit at the same time, but we won't do that bit until we've got that bit sorted out. We've got to go underneath, which is going to be tricky, but I think I have another type of sander I can use. What I did with the cracks is I cut into each crack and then I filled over the top, and I'm just hoping that on its own will work. I'm probably going to have filler hovering over the top of this gel coat anyway, so I'm not overly bothered by that. As long as it will come out nice, neat and smooth, that's pretty much all I'm interested in. But I think there's several filler layers later, I think I'm there. I mean, I have just spotted that crack which I missed, that I might have to go over with the grinder, but other than that, I redid that side. It's all done under there. I've done down here, which you can't see. I've done all along there. I've done all the way along here. Filled up some holes. So So I think really all I need to do is just cut in there maybe. Okay, so I've ground them out as best as possible. You've got one there, biggest one there, another one there, 3, 4 there, and another one in that corner there. And I've taken it out right away across to there. Not sure what's going on there, so I'll leave that one alone. That's just paint, that could be what that is as well, but I don't think I can't dig into it, so we'll see where that one ends up. So I just need to mix some more filler up and just quickly go over those. That went well. Sanded it all back, and then I found a bloody another one. So I've got to let that dry off. But I think that is it now, possibly. Oh boy, this is nearly done. Little pinprick hole, another pinprick hole, and it is done. We are ready to clean it off, prime it all up. Boy, that's been a hard job. But as best as it's going to get, to be honest. I don't think I can get that any better. I mean, there's still some shiny stuff going on, which I need to get rid of before I put primer on. Whether I'll do it or not, that's another story. A little bit of sanding to do up there, a 2-minute job. The primer will show up where all the nasty bits are. There you go. As far as I know, there's no more filler going on this, so there's no more hard sanding. It is just a question now of getting some primer on it. I mean, there's still a few areas, look, here. I couldn't see them in the shed because the light is a bit shit. Crack there that I'm a bit concerned about, but frankly I'm fed up with filling the damn thing, so could be one there as well now, rearing its ugly head up. That's the problem with gel coat. If it's too thick, it cracks. And I'm not actually sure what's going on with this, because I've sanded some of this area down so thin that I'm still not finding fiberglass fibers. So yeah, I don't actually know what this is made from. I assumed it was a form of fiberglass, and I know for a fact it's not plastic, so I have no idea what this thing is made out of. So there you go. Okay. Oh, what a crap week this has been. There you go. I'm still not 100% sure about them. They look a bit weird, but you've got to bear in mind I have not built the back yet, so until we get the back on, we won't know if that's an indulgence that really wasn't needed. But the rest of this, yeah, damn pleased with that. Very pleased with that. There you go. And I know this is all strong because I was trying to fit that myself and it kept falling off and hitting the floor, and then I literally lost my temper and threw it as hard as I could against the bloody wall and walked away from it for half an hour before I threw the bike on its side, because I was also, that's how bad our week has been, and it's all down to one company, Sky. I've wasted 4 hours of my life this week ringing them up to try and get some stuff sorted out, and as I've been trying to sort it out, more stuff's been going wrong because the people at Sky, they haven't a clue what they're talking about, apart from one chap in Bulgaria that I was speaking to, I believe is where he is, and he has been very good in trying to sort this problem out, but even he's struggling with it at the moment. I think Sky are trying to screw me out of some money at the moment, I think is what they're up to, or what they've done, or what's happened. But anyway, there's that. Now, I've been down to see the engineer. sweating. Been out to the engineer yesterday, hasn't started it yet. He's had other important jobs on, and I said, well, that's fine. I said, what I don't want is you telling me to go away because I'm pestering. He said, no, I need pestering because I ain't even ordered the steel. He said, I'll do the steel tomorrow. So I still don't know what you're doing with this. I don't understand what I'm building. And I said, look, pull up your internet and I'll show you a picture because I ain't got no phone signal down here. And then he suddenly grasped exactly what we were doing. Oh, okay. I said, there you go, now you know. He said, so you're building a trike using this? I said, yeah, but you don't like trikes, do you? You're a biker yourself. Yeah, I don't like trikes because you have to destroy a perfectly good bike. I said, yeah, I'm definitely destroying a perfectly good bike at the moment to build this thing. However, I said the bike at the moment unrestored is worth about $2,500 if I'm lucky. I said restored it's worth about $5,000 max, absolute max. I said, and I'll be pushing very hard to get that. I said, but as a trike it could be worth anything from £4,000 up to £10,000 if I decide that I ever want to sell it, of which I don't want to do. I said, but it's not just that. I said, all the bloody training centres around here, they do not want to give me hourly lessons. I can't find one centre that will give me an hourly lesson and the loan of a 650 bike to do my test. So I said, so with the fact that I had a walking stick through the summer months trying to hobble about because of some leg issues that I had, I said, I think my biking days are done. I shouldn't even be doing this, but him next door, you know, the bloody school teacher, has got Harley Davidson, and that's got a nice little thump when he comes down the alleyway. 1200cc I think he said it was. 1800cc, and I'm going to put a blow-through valve on the exhaust system, you know, one of those electric valves that you can turn, and I'm going to go down the alleyway and I'm going to make as much noise as I can, just to let him know I'm coming home. God, he irritates me. Anyway, what you see is what you get with me, I'm afraid. Yeah. So now what we need to do is to very, very, very carefully dismount the swing arm. We need to take tank off, the seat off, the backrest off. We need to strap the number plate because we don't want to wreck any more wiring. I need to take that leg panel off and find somewhere to keep that so it don't get scratched up, because it actually has got good paint on that. Assuming I still follow through by using them. I don't think I've restricted air to the cylinder heads too much. I think we'll be fine. If anything, I think it might actually reflect it on there more because we've got all these angles here. I might cut that side vent out. I just don't see the point, and that seems rather a daft idea. I don't even know why I bought this one with them. So I might dismantle that air vent completely. And just live without it because I don't see the point in it, and I think my foot's going to hit that anyway once it's opened. So yeah, we might dismantle that and yeah, go with that really. So yeah, I don't know. I think that looked really good. That's definitely taking shape now. And I was going to build some stuff here, going down to try and mimic that, but I couldn't do it. It went inwards, which is defeating the object. Couldn't come outwards because this needed to be extended that way. So in the end, what I did is when I put that on, I made sure that flowed down to try and achieve what I needed to achieve, and I hope I have achieved it. Now all I've got to figure out is how to clean that visor. Scratched up, really badly scratched up, so I need to find a company that can maybe scratch that down, mill it down, and then repolish it back up without it being distorted. Anyway, this is it now. Next week we hopefully will get some progress on that swing arm conversion. So yeah, differential will be put together, but I still at this point don't know how I'm going to build a swing arm until I get that back. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is try and spend all week trying to remove that. I don't think it's going to be as easy as I'm hoping. I actually think that's going to be a damn nightmare, and I don't want to cut it up because all the bits I'm taking off I'm going to put up on eBay eventually. and hopefully they'll go towards restoring one of these bikes that somebody's got, so not everything's going to waste. And I also have some back wheels lying around here and some diff boxes as well that I'm going to put up for sale that are not needed from other bikes that I've triked over the years. It's time to have a clean out a little bit. I mean, this shed is a shithole mess. Not good. Tripping over everything. That's why I lost my rag with that, because I just couldn't get that one on my nightmare. So there you go. Right, I've got to go down to the post office because I've got a parcel to pick up and I have no idea what that is. So I'm hoping it's a Hoover and a gutter cleaner pipe. See you next week. Thanks for watching. Thanks for liking. Laters.